Do you feel successful?
No,
Really?
no, not at all.
What does success mean to you then,
To me,
Adaora?
I'm being a startup founder. There's always so many days where you're just like, why did I do this? Like, why did I voluntarily do this? I would say you can't be everything for everyone.
Hmm.
And I think that's like that's how it is for any business as well. Like you need to know that you need to maybe focus on one set of people or customer.
Adaora, welcome to NEXUS Talks. We are honestly so honoured to have you because we don't even know how to organise the interview, if I'm being honest. We're looking at it and we're like, there's so much to talk about. But before we get into it, for those who may not have come across you before, please can you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do?
First of all, thank you so much, Dina. It's honored to be here. I really appreciate that. So in terms of introduction, so I'm Adora. I'm the CEO and founder of Amaka. We're a platform that connects brands and businesses to Black and African creators of creative talent. But essentially, our focus is to help creators monetize their work and their creativity on the platform, and by seamlessly being matched and connected to businesses who are either looking for maybe an individual creator or a team of creators and creative talent. So yeah, that's what we do.
And is that what you wanted to do when you were a little girl growing up?
Uh, that's so funny. Actually, I wanted to be a singer growing up, but that didn't work out. But I was always a creative at heart. So I think that's probably I think there was always a through line. Like I always have been in the creative industry. Not even just when I was very young, but also professionally as well. And then that's essentially what really inspired me to really go into the creative field. And really improve the creative infrastructure, especially for underrepresented talent as well. Yeah.
Tell me how you got to this point though, because I can imagine you've worked
Yeah.
in so many different capacities before you've built Amaka. So tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess so starting out in uni, I studied media and communications, and was, very much loved everything about that field, and then also, pursued that professionally. Worked at Vice, OK Africa, advertising agencies as well. But there was something that was really bothering me a lot, that where I felt that there was a lot of misrepresentation and underrepresentation of Black and African talent. With the exception of OK Africa, like a lot of the spaces I was in was predominantly white or had a very American Western lens and didn't really focus on, you know, the creative landscape in Africa essentially. And so that's what I wanted to set out on, and basically look at that from a representation perspective, from a job creation perspective, and really just make sure that there was like real solid impact. So that's I feel like that was for me why it started, was just my experience with the lack of representation opportunities and wanting to address that issue.
Yeah. What kind of representation were you working on? Yeah, I know you said there was misrepresentation. Were there like certain stories that stood out in your head that you were like, you know what, I'm done working in this kind of space?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even just even in media, but it's even day to day life, I'd say. But like, I would definitely say, maybe when we are working in media, for example, the stories that you'd always repeatedly hear, maybe about Africa, is, just very kind of like downtrodden stories, and just not really having a holistic representation or a nuanced view of what's going on. There's so much, innovation, youth, that we're the youngest continent, and essentially there's a lot of passion and growth and power that's really fueling the digital space. And I would say that, having those kind of like stories where maybe people didn't know about, maybe it was mostly more so people not knowing about talent there, or if they wanted to do a shoot, maybe they're maybe flying over people instead of using local talent, for example, or even just day-to-day interactions of people just not knowing that Africa is a continent, that kind of thing. So I would definitely say it was just like a combination of like, those kind of frustrations and comments. where I was just like, okay, I think there's a lot of, it's clear that there's clearly a misunderstanding of what's going on the continent. But I think obviously it's changing. The last 5 years, obviously with the rise of Afrobeats, Amapiano Nollywood,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and even social media has just really expanded everyone's horizons on that. That December was in Lagos. Everybody, this year was everybody was in Lagos this year. So I think there's just very clear understanding of the cultural impact that the continent is having. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you go about then building Amaka Studio? So you came up with the idea, then
Yes.
what? Because I love like what you've achieved, but you're
Thank
skipping
you.
so much of the
Thank you.
hard. I'm imagining sweat, tears,
Yeah.
blood. So tell me about that.
A lot of tears. Actually, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we actually started out as a media company. Yeah, for Black and African women. And that was like the main focus as a kind of like a digital media space. And but by the very nature of being a digital media company, you're working with creatives. And so I would definitely say what that was like one of the main kind of things that I wanted to address was, again, being who was in front of the lens, what are the stories being told, that kind of thing. And then as we progress, I was like, okay, I want to look at like who is doing the production, and who is doing the curating, and who's doing the executing, and making sure that they were the right people in those spaces. But I would say like just doing that and then also pivoting to what we do was just incredibly hard and difficult. Again, issues with either like fundraising, being a young Black woman in the space. We've also been going through very, very difficult market situations where people are there's a lot of layoffs. The media industry was changing quite rapidly. All our beloved like media companies have either gone bankrupt or have downsized. So just being in this space, it was just like, Adora, why are you here? Like, why did you get into this space? But there was clearly like a very strong dedication and need for it. But I think it was just like having to readjust my thinking and focus of how to solve that problem and achieve that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think for a lot of startup founders, especially in the creative space as well,
Yeah.
scalability is such an issue. Like, how do you grow? And the
Yeah.
worst thing, as you said about the creative space, is what's popping today and what's working today might not be working tomorrow. So, how would you say, or what advice would you give, even by your own examples, about growing but staying true to the mission and the authenticity as well?
Oh, that's such a great question. Um, I always say this, but I would definitely say being obsessed with the problem that you're trying to solve.
Mm.
Especially with founders, creative founders, tech founders, any kind of founder, how you started is not going to be how you end up. But I would say at our core, whether we've pivoted as we scaled, we were still very true to our mission, at our core is really about the focus of, again, tackling representation, misrepresentation, and providing more job opportunities and autonomy in the creative space for Black and Africans. Whether that's through a magazine or a media company or a tech company, that was essentially what we had. And I would say like being very true to like what is the thing that you are trying to solve, so that as you scale, you have a north star, you have a clear vision. We were even worried when we pivoted that we would lose quite a few people or people would not understand, but like that didn't happen at all. And people still felt that sense of community, that understanding of what we were doing. And it just really was a clear indicator that the being obsessed with the problem and being clear to that vision and mission was what really kind of made sure that we were able to withstand all the issues that come with scaling. So I would say that is like probably what I would do. And then also that's not even just from a vision perspective, but from a practical perspective, it informs your whole strategy, your operation strategy as well, like what you're trying to build, where you're allocating funding and all of that. So I'd say that was how we stayed true to, as we scaled. And that's the advice I would definitely give to anyone who's scaling and growing as well. Yeah.
Yeah. With what you do, there is a huge aspect of education. I imagine every time you enter a room or have a new conversation, there's a lot of educating and trying to
Yes,
change
yes.
perspectives. Does that become easier? Sorry to go off topic. It's just something that popped in my head. Does that become easier? Does it always feel repetitive? Or is social media, as you said, helping people change their perception of Africa?
That's a really, I love that question. I It's hard because I don't know, I don't know if it's because maybe I'm surrounding myself with people who just immediately get it, so there isn't a lot of like, conversation with people who don't get it, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. I think
yeah.
it's because by our very nature, people are just gravitate towards us and just understand what we're doing, why we're doing it. The clients that we work with understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and even understand the importance of working with us and connecting with Black and African talent as well. So I feel like maybe the answer is more so, I think my environment and community of customers, users, the various different kinds of people who are around us and understand and consume our work. I don't there hasn't been a lot of education about Africa. I think a lot of people just get it,
Nice.
luckily.
Yeah, I was going to say, very lucky.
But what I will say though, I think when we started off initially, because when we were also trying to target maybe like bigger clients, maybe in the US, bigger large corporate clients in the US and Europe, there were some people who were just like, I need to understand more. I'm not really sure, or maybe didn't even understand. They wouldn't say it to your face, but they wouldn't value the importance of diversity and that kind of thing. But again, I think I was just like, let me just align myself with people who just get it. So then I just reduced my sales cycle as well, and we just get going.
I also think it's a very healthy way to do it because I think sometimes being in a room where you have to be like, because plus one plus
Yeah,
is two,
yeah,
and people are
yes,
like, huh?
yes,
It's
yeah, yeah,
very difficult. So
yes,
I
yes,
like your strategy.
yes, yes, 100%.
But just in case there is somebody listening to this who may not understand like what difficulties African creatives face, can you
Yes,
tell me a bit more about like what it is that they might struggle with that we're not aware of, and
yes.
then how obviously Amaka Studio help fill that gap?
100%. That's really great question as well, because one of
Thanks.
the main things that we're solving, and then we're even actively just kind of solving, is issues of like payments as well. So for example, a lot of African-based creators, they can't monetize through through TikTok, sometimes even Substack, because of the payment providers they use. Sometimes you need a USD bank account or European bank
Right.
account. And so it really excludes a lot of people from participating in the creator economy. And that's what we are doing, is working with African fintech companies to integrate onto our platform, and to make sure that creators are getting paid on the platform through their local currency as well, and having that kind of like recurring income, because there's obviously, like I said, brilliant people on the continent, but it can't be, you can't just exclude a huge number of people simply because of payments. So I
Yeah.
think that's something that, it's definitely an infrastructure challenge that I think a lot of different industries are trying to solve, but that's something that we are doing by essentially actively working with payment providers to make sure that they can participate and monetize on the platform. So I'd say like if that's the one thing, that's the main thing that we're solving, and
Yeah.
that's been a key issue.
That's actually phenomenal as well because
Yeah.
if you think there's so many unreal creatives
Yes.
around the world, and
Yes.
because this industry is so like quick, quick, let's go
Yes. Yes.
trend, they could literally lose out on so many
Yes.
opportunities simply because, oh, I
100%.
can't pay you, don't worry, I'll
Yeah.
go somewhere else.
And that's it, exactly what happens, is that like, I can't pay you, or you're not really in the region where we would focus on,
Hmm.
which again is a shame, because they could probably provide strong sales or revenue opportunities for that client or for that business, but because there's an issue of payments, they're completely excluded from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you share a story with me, like a warm, fuzzy, proud moment for you where you were like, damn, what I'm doing and what the team and I doing is amazing because this just happened.
Oh,
I know
that's
there must be so many, but
yeah. I will say I don't know. It's not like a grand thing, but I think this is probably what motivates me. At being a startup founder, there's always so many days where you're just like, why did I do this? Like, why did I voluntarily do this? But I would definitely say it's when we had like a brand trip with five amazing creators, and one of the creators, like she's like starting out and kind of building her network, and we brought her on the trip. She was amazing, really great engagement for the brand, but like she wrote a really lovely thank you email, just really thanking us for the opportunity, and like this was one of her goals, and wanting to be able to achieve one step closer to modeling as well. And
wow.
it was just like, it seemed small, but it was just like, oh my gosh, like I, you know, this company has actively helped her, not only provide her with income, but also with, an opportunity to expose herself to different clients, to, be closer to her goals. So I think that was like a warm, fuzzy feeling. I screenshotted and sent it to my team. And it was like, like this is what we need to keep going. And, if I can multiply that as well. I just feel like, again, that's what we set out to do, is to create that kind of impact. Yeah.
That's amazing. It must like lift you up so much when you're like
Yeah.
stressed, as you said, working, and then you see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what's really interesting? When I speak with anyone who does any sort of creative work that represents a specific group, the attachment is really ridiculous. Like
Yes.
there's no
Yes.
logging off and being like, oh, it's a job, because it's actually like you're doing something
Yes.
for you and a
Yes.
purpose.
Yes. Yes.
Um, it must be so difficult for you to just switch off, Adora. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, no, it really, really is. Like, honestly, I've been doing this coming up to our fourth year now. I think this is the first time in 4 years I actually took Christmas break seriously, because I was
No.
tired. I was exhausted. I didn't take a break this whole year. Maybe for my birthday for a few days, but like in general, like it was just on and going. Actually, to be fair, even the last year was my first time being intentional about taking breaks, because even the years before, I did not take breaks on my birthday. Like I didn't. I was working on Christmas. I was just like, it's just my birthday. I was just born. That was like my. Just,
The more you talk, the worse it's getting, Adora. Oh
you
my
know,
god.
but 2024, I was very intentional about taking time. I'm not perfect, but I think it takes a bit of time. I think when you're so attached to something, but it was,
Yeah.
I had to really learn how to be like, just stop, because it's not going to, it's actually going to do more damage, more harm than good, if you're not
Yeah.
fully, yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just one thing I'd like to say.
Yes.
Um, birthdays are meant to be celebrated for the whole month. So the
Yeah.
fact that you're like, it's just my birthday, I literally was like, just turn off the laptop because you're doing it wrong. Okay, so
You know,
2025, when's your birthday?
it's March, so it's coming up March 8th.
Girl,
It's coming up
okay,
soon.
2025, you said let's be intentional this year as well.
Yes.
Try
Yes.
and drag it out at least like 5 days.
5 days. Yeah. Okay.
Just
I
try it.
will. I will work on that. I will be like, you know what? This is my birthday week.
Yes, and then it starts building because
You
now
know,
people ghost me. Like every August, they're like, "We're unavailable," because it's a month thing.
it's a
So just start off with a
monthly.
week.
It's a monthly celebration. So I'll definitely make a note of that.
Okay, cool. That's fine. That's the only piece of advice I'm going to be able to give you today. So just take it. Can I ask you? Obviously, you don't have to answer this, but do you feel successful?
No. No.
Really?
No. 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 Not at all.
What does success mean to you then, Adora?
I'm. I'm trying to figure that out, but like, I don't know. Maybe I think it's probably very like, maybe like hitting more of the revenue goals, or, how many payouts we do for creators, like,
Mm.
and obviously we're growing and getting there, but like I do not feel successful yet. I know we're working towards that. And also, I'm the kind of person that is like, okay, when we raise, because we closed our seed round, but I was just like, okay, that's done, move on. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't celebrate that. And again, because I have certain views on fundraising, but I don't know if we'll get into that. But
Feel free to say what you want today. This is your show, so you say what you want.
it's my show. But I just think, not to get on a tangent, like, fundraising is obviously, it helps you scale, but I think it's a means to an end. So
Mm.
I think, having that scalable revenue growth and growing on your own terms is really something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And while we're doing that and growing that, but I would still say that, like, it's not at where I want it to be. So I think, but obviously I'm not knocking all the amazing achievements that we've done, but I think it's very much like startup founder mentality, where it's like, I'm just not satisfied. Even when I
Yeah.
probably get to where I want to be, I'll probably still not be satisfied. You know.
In a way, that must be really reassuring for people to hear that feel the same, because I think you're right. When you start something for yourself, or if your job completely depends on what you're doing in terms of as a
Yes,
person,
yes.
you're never ever going to recognize what success is, because your goal continuously changes.
100%, 100%. But it
But
is
because
important. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but it is also important to really reflect on things like what you have achieved, because I think what I noticed is when you were just so hard on yourself, you not only not congratulate yourself, you forget to congratulate your team and the people with you, because you're
Mm,
just so focused on that. And I had to really be like, no, like, this is what we did, this is what the team's great, this is what we've done. Fine, we didn't get this thing, but that's okay. Like, we have time to do this. We made this mistake, that's fine. Why did we make that mistake? And just kind of shifting your mindset of, like, a growth mindset, but also, making sure that you understand and appreciate where you are in comparison to where you were before. So
definitely.
yeah.
I also like, because I feel the same about my life. I never feel successful.
Yeah.
And I always like to be toxic and just blame my parents. I'm like, you have high standards for me. You're typical North African Arab
Oh
parents.
my gosh.
So you're to blame. I can't identify success. So you can always
Oh my
blame your parents if
gosh.
you want.
Maybe that's probably the thing, because I'm Nigerian. So I feel like maybe it's an African thing. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
It
it's
is
probably it's where are you from in North Africa?
Egypt.
E-
Yeah.
Really?
Yes,
Guess where I am right now?
Egypt. Are you actually?
I am in Cairo. Yes, yes, I
What are
am.
you doing in Cairo?
Actually, fun fact. Like, I spent a lot of time, like, growing up here for a bit. So
No.
my parents live here, so I go back and forth as well. Please don't speak to me in Arabic. My Arabic is
No,
really
no, no,
bad.
don't worry.
But like,
Oh my god, your parents live in Egypt. That's
yeah,
crazy.
I live in Cairo. Yeah, 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 yeah. So
I don't hate you. I'm not jealous. So happy for you, Albert.
yeah, I was like, I'm feeling Egyptian vibes from her, but I was like, let me not let let me just let her tell me.
That is so funny. Oh my god. Well, if you're ever in Cairo, because I am hopefully coming more this year, we'll definitely like meet up
Oh
there.
yes, please let me know. I'm here like 3 times a year, so it'd be good to
Oh
do
my
that.
god. That's crazy. Okay, I love that. My next question was gonna be, what's the lesson that you've learned in your career, Adora, that no one could have prepared you for?
Oh wow. um,
Take your time, like don't even think deep if you need to.
I feel like there's so many things, but I think people that learning how to navigate people and different personalities. I think we always just think that, like, business is just about, like, just the metrics, and from those kind of tangible things, I would say. But I didn't realize that the importance of, like, everything about business is about people management, whether it's with, like, clients, whether it's with your team, understanding different dynamics. making sure that you're hiring the right people, and even learning how to hire the right people was like a huge learning curve for me. And I didn't on it. And it sounds so obvious, but I genuinely didn't. I think I underestimated that. I didn't realize how
Mm,
important it is to understand, people management dynamics, that kind of thing. And even when you're fundraising, one of the main things that I've heard and learned was that, um, investors, when you're, especially in your early stage, they don't invest in the product, they're investing in you and the team. And that was just very, very telling. And it was mainly because, like I said, how you started won't be how you end. And you need to
mm,
have people that are dynamic and understand how to be quite malleable with the situations that are that occur with being a startup, right?
yeah.
And know how to be adaptable. So I think that was like no one really prepared me for that. I people prepare you for different things, like about, it's always talking about funding, they're always talking about how you grow, that kind of thing, but no one really was like, just understand people, and really, really have a very strong grasp on that. So I would definitely say that's like the main thing for me. Yeah.
Mm. Is there any unique advice that you can give to anyone in your position that's also trying to uplift a certain ethnic group or a certain
Yeah.
continent? Anything super unique to that kind of business?
That's um any unique advice to that kind of business?
Because I'm sure when you're representing a whole continent, I could be wrong, but I
Yeah.
don't know if you ever feel like, oh, I'm not representing this part enough, or I'm not
Yes.
representing this. So
You,
something like that.
I feel like this might be a bit contradictory, but I would say you can't be everything for everyone.
Mm,
And I think that's like that's how it is for any business as well. Like you need to know that you need to maybe focus on one set of people or customer. And I'd even say for a group of people, I would say, especially when you're maybe focusing maybe on race or gender, or maybe a specific group, I would definitely say just hone in on maybe like either whether it's one country for now, one specific group for now. Like for example, for us, like we are Pan African, right? And that's what
mm,
we had in mind. But obviously, there was a concern of like, oh, I can't do it. I can't authentically be it for everyone because I don't have the resources. I don't have the funding for that. And just, I think for us, we just maybe that's how I was like started out. Okay, let me just start out with women, and that's kind of how we kind of expanded out. Also, a lot of our users are Nigerian, but and then understanding the unique experiences of our Nigerian users helped us understand like, okay, how do we gradually grow? Because we're Pan African, other countries, groups gravitate towards to us. But I would definitely say, if you can, I would try to be very, very specific in terms of your audience, so that you can add really like very clear value to them, understand that, and then learn how to expand it out. Like my goal at the I'd love to serve francophone audiences, lusophone, Arabic speaking audiences, but I can't right now. So now
yeah.
it's just like, okay, how do I just focus on maybe one subset of people, provide that clear value, and then expand out? So I think that's probably the advice that I would say, and we're still figuring that out ourselves. But I
Mm,
think that was like something that was helpful for us, and helpful when I got that advice from my advisors as well. Yeah.
yeah. Advisors in like mentors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mentors, like people on either on our board, or people who, people that I just look up to as well, who've just been really great support systems for me,
Yeah.
and just kind of navigating that. Yeah.
Do you think mentors are a must? I know a lot of people in the creative space are a bit like, do I need one?
It's yeah, honestly, I don't think I would have gotten to where I am without like a mentor. I
Wow.
have this amazing mentor. She runs a very successful communications agency, one of the only Black women
Wow.
in London, like basically who runs a successful agency for top African financial institutions. And but she has been like the biggest supporter of me in every single way, and I don't think I would have really continued without her. And so if you can have someone who not only advocates for you, who opens doors, who can lean you can lean on. I think honestly it has helped me, and that's something I'd want to do, pass it forward to someone else. And when I hopefully get to that kind of stature that she's been able to get to. And I do think it helps because you don't know, we don't know everything, and you also don't know what you don't know until someone tells
Yeah.
you. And I think it's important, but also I think it's important for it to happen organically. I think
Mm.
sometimes we get caught up in like, oh, I need a mentor, and it's like, this is how I get a mentor, and I need to interview like, it's supposed to be an organic relationship, because then they would genuinely help you. Like I've had, you know, people before who didn't really help me, but maybe it wasn't organic, but this relationship was, and she just poured into me. So I think that's kind of what I would say, based on my experience with mentorship. Yeah.
Yeah. You said that you don't think you could have carried on as much or like gone as far as you
Yeah.
did without your mentor. When you doubt yourself, how do you get over that, Adora?
Oh, when I doubt myself, honestly, I just think I remove myself and just think about the impact that I want to have, as well that I as well as the impact that I did have. So just even looking at examples, like when you feel doubtful, like the example that I gave of the creator, like that was a clear example. You can go back and read the message, and there were just so many different instances over the years where I've wanted to give up, but like I've had those moments of like those many moments of impact, that I was like, okay, like I'm not wasting my time here. I'm not, just kind of on some fool's errand here. Like this is something that is real and tangible. So I think for me, when I'm just, you get in your mind, and a lot of the things in your mind are not very, they're not tangible things, but having something that you can read, that you can feel, that you can see, that it's like, okay, this is real. Okay, now I can keep going. I think that's what how I've kept going. And also like my amazing family, and my amazing fiance. I just got engaged as well. So that's something that would have me.
Congratulations!
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that's been like something that's kept me going, yeah.
Oh my god, that's so exciting. Have you booked the big day yet?
No, not yet, but it's probably gonna be sometime in December. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
thank you.
Adora.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I look forward to seeing how you handle the pressure of being a bride. I got married at the end of 2023 and I thought I was a strong woman.
Oh
That
my
humbled
gosh.
me.
I'm gonna need to tap into you, because I'm just gonna need a lot of advice. You
I
know,
got you. Girl, I got you, okay?
honestly, and also like Egyptian weddings, you guys don't play at
We
all.
don't play. We don't play.
So I
And
understand.
yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. I've got so many do's and don'ts now. And do you know what? It's great. Like I look back and I actually had an amazing time. I'm not trying to scare you
I'm
because it is
glad.
actually so lovely.
Yes,
And
yes,
being engaged and it's like, oh, all
yes.
exciting.
Yeah.
Um, it's just it's like it's gonna test you in a new way in terms of wedding planning if you're doing it.
Oh, what, you were just doing it? You didn't have someone?
Well, like, I think I learned something about myself is I'm a control freak. Before I thought I was
Okay.
so chill, by the way. I was like, I'm chill. Even my husband was like, girl, like, you need to chill.
Yes, yes.
Um, so I probably didn't accept as much help as I could have. But anyway, this is not my show. Adora, this is your show. So we'll talk about this another
We'll
time.
talk. We'll talk.
Um, is there anything exciting that you're working on that you're allowed to share?
That I'm allowed to share.
Yeah. Or any big projects for Amaka Studio that we're going to be seeing in a few months or anything like that?
Okay. I mean, I how can I say? I think maybe in terms of like just new features. I feel like I'm just being cryptic, but like I think just in terms of like new features to help businesses scale and grow by connecting them to creative teams through the platform as well. I think that's something that we're very excited about. That we've been, you know, building out.
Yeah.
There are like some new client campaigns that we're very excited to go live with, but I can't say
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I
But
always hate asking this question because every time it's like, can't tell
I
you, but I
can't
think
tell
I'll
you.
try.
I was trying to give you a little bit of something,
No,
but
no,
there are some like great campaigns I'm very excited about that we're doing in Q1. So just follow us and stay tuned. Yeah.
where can people follow you? This is the perfect time to plug.
Yes, yes. So it's amaka.studio. So it's AMAKA dot studio. And that's, you can find us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and that's also our website as well.
Amazing. I've got just two more questions.
Yeah.
I could sit here and ask you 200 more, but another time. Um, how do you stay authentic to you, Adora? Like, this industry's tough.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's constantly changing. So, as you mentioned, once you get to grips with it and you're smashing it, something new comes and it changes the
Yeah.
landscape, new challenges. But how do you stay authentic to you and your purpose?
I would definitely say I definitely say the people around me, like family, friends, also team. I think again, just reiterating the importance of a team and also good advisory board around you, who have the same value system as you, very mission oriented. And I think once you make sure that you have those kinds of people around you, no matter the challenges that come with being having a business or being a startup, you will always make sure that you're always grounded as long as you have those people reflecting you. I think it's like, I think it's really true. You really are as good as the people around you. And I really strongly believe that. I just laugh because my mom would always be like, I'm sure she's like, who's your friend? Like when you grow up and then she's always asking you like, who's your friend? Or I don't like that friend. And you're just like,
Mhm.
why are you saying? But now I'm like, I get it, because you're just like, it's the influence around you. So I would definitely say like, I think having good supportive people and support system has helped me stay grounded growing this. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
One message that you would like to leave people who might be inspired by your story?
One message.
Yeah.
I don't, I want to give a really good message. I don't like the whole "don't give up" thing. Like
You can do it.
you can do it, that kind of thing. Um,
Think about it. Honestly, there's no rush. Like, we can edit even if it's a 10-minute
just
pause.
something fun. Honestly, I know I'm going to sound repetitive, but I really really think what I said about being obsessed with the problem. The reason, that's why I really really believe that, and just want to relay that, because like I said, like this journey is so hard. It is an incredibly difficult journey, building anything that was in something in your mind to paper and then to reality. It is a very very hard thing, and just you have to be adaptable and you have to be okay with change, and also having the business sense to understand when something is not working. So I think it's just important to be like, okay, like this way wasn't the way that I wanted to start off, but like there's another way that I think will help me get to where I want to get to do, and address the problem that I want to solve. So I think that's something that I a key message that I want to relay to people, and I wish that was something that was I was told, because I changing was very difficult for me. Like keep hanging on to things and not wanting to let go when it clearly wasn't serving me, because I felt like I was betraying the vision or the mission.
Mm.
But in reality, you see a lot of these big tech startups, like even like for example, Slack apparently was like a used to be a gaming platform, and they raised a lot, and
What?
then it went badly, but the software they used was actually what Slack is today. So things change, and it's okay for it to change. So I think that's one of the main things that I want to say. Yeah. Yeah.
Adora, I've had so much fun that I forgot that I was even here to do a job and get information out of you. Honestly, thank you so much for answering so honestly and thoughtfully. And I really mean it. what you've built is amazing.
Thank you
I
so
am in
much.
awe of you, and it just makes women like me in this creative space and so many other women just think, damn, like we can do it. So if ever you are stressed and thinking, just remember there's loads of women that are like looking at you being like, I want to build something like that too. So
Oh, thank you so much, Dina. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much again for having me. I thoroughly enjoy this. I think this is one of my favorite interviews so far. So thank you so much.
thank you so much for that. That's
Kiki,
really kind.
laughing and stuff. I love that. So no, thank you for all the great and thoughtful questions.
Thank you so much. And make sure you obviously stay in touch and let us know like what Amaka's up to and stuff. We'd love to like stay in touch and see what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Amazing.
Tina.
No, you're welcome. I'm just going to stop the recording.
Yeah, sure thing.